Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the homestead. Today we're going to be harvesting and storing our beets. We have two types of beets in the garden this year. We have a red cylindrical beet, and then we also have a round golden beet. So we're going to be showing you how we harvest, and then we're going to show you how we store the beets. So stay tuned and come along. For beets this year, we're growing this style of red beet. It's called cylindrical, and you can see why, the shape. We're not growing a bulb type beetroot this year. And then, for a red anyway, but then over here, this is the golden beet. Delicious little guys. And this is a variety called Detroit. When we look at the beets, one of the first things we notice is the wonderful looking leaf. And what we do is we remove the leaves and eat those separately. Beet greens are much like Swiss chard greens or leaves. You can see they're very similar, and just like we grow Swiss chard for their leaves, we also grow, many people do, they grow the beet greens. You can buy beet greens. They're wonderful. A wonderful nutritious food. So when we pull our beets out, the first thing we like to do is remove the greens. And we save those in a separate tote. In the field now, where the beets are grown, I'm going to remove this little bit of agribon. Just pull it back. And then the actual harvesting of the beets themselves is very simple. We like to do the harvesting after a rain because it loosens the soil up and makes pulling the beets much easier. We just grab them by the leaves where they attach to the root, and you just pull them straight out of the ground. They just really couldn't be any easier. Some are bigger than others. It's all food though. And we'll just go right down the row. So again, where the ground being as damp as it is, you just reach down where the leaves attach to the root and just lightly pull it out. Again, some beets will be larger than others. That's just the way nature is. Just like onions, just like potatoes. But on the other hand, you don't want your beets to be too big. They become a little fibrous. You just don't want that.
That doesn't seem to happen with these cylinders.
No.
They're just little.
Which is great. They're very delectable.
Yeah, they are. They're tender. They're not, as you say, fibrous.
Did I say fibrous?
But yeah.
Okay.
But some are so small it's almost laughable.
Yeah, but don't forget the greens are very good.
Yeah.
If we can salvage any of the greens, I like to.
It's interesting to me that the red, the cylinders, the leaves tend to get dark, and I can't tell whether that means they're all dried out and old, because the golden beets, the leaves are very tender and a nice green, a very pretty green color.
The vast majority of these is just perfect.
This is a nice one. That's what I expected. Maybe a little bit longer. These are short, but it's okay. So we'll be hosing these down?
Not if they're going to go in the basement.
Oh, that's right.
But if you want to take some to the house, any beets that,
Ooh.
well, that one's picture perfect.
That's really nice.
Any beets that are damaged, which these aren't, but if they were damaged, you would want to take those right to the kitchen.
So we're looking at the Detroit Golden beets, which I had never tried before. And as we'll see, I think, they tend to be kind of small. But one thing that I really like about these is the beet greens. They're really nice looking, and they taste very good. Well, I see a mouse has decided that these were worth eating also. That's all right. I'm going to put them in here anyway because I want the greens. Oh boy. Okay. Look at the difference. Right near each other. Same seed. Nature's wonders. And you're right, they come out really easily with this rain. Some people say the small beets these size are the best tasting.
Now, in drought conditions, what you can do to help yourself, if you know your harvest is coming up, you can, if you want to be tedious about it, you can take your tool and make a little trench or moat around the beet plants and then water them, and then the water will collect in those moats to give you the conditions that you're seeing now, where the soil is wet. Beautiful, beautiful beets. The soil is wet and these are coming out very easily. These are beautiful beets.
Yeah, I like this.
And they taste
I like
good.
this size.
We had a few yesterday for lunch. Or rather with our lunch.
Well, I was doing a pork roast and I boiled the beets first because I wanted to make sure that they were nice and soft by the time we took them out of the oven. But then I just put them in with the pork roast and for the last half hour, and it was wonderful. They took on all the flavors of the garlic and the thyme and salt and pepper with which we prepared the pork roast.
All right, we're down here in the root cellar now, and I'm going to show you how we store root vegetables like beets, and we did this earlier to our carrots. So I've got a nice clean tote here in the root cellar, and first I'm going to put a layer of sand in the bottom. All right, this will be my base layer of sand. Just going to spread it around. Hi, Emma. Hi, girl. Things always go easier when you have a goat in here to help you. Goats make the time go by much more fun. So we just spread that sand out. And then I'm going to line my roots in here. Line them up. I tend to like to leave a little bit of the top and all of the root on them. I'm just going to line them up. That's a golden one. Some people say don't let them touch each other. I've never found that to be a factor. In fact, I usually end up getting kind of sloppy at this, although I do my best. There's one of the golden ones right there. Remember, these are cylindra beets. Okay, I'm going to get some more sand now. We're going to put another layer of sand over top of the beets we've already installed. That should be enough. Then I'm going to just spread the sand out. The beets will think they're still in the ground. There goes another tranche of beets. And we'll just move them around. Just how do you say it? Arrange them, I think you say in English. We shall arrange them. Put the goldens on one side in case Danielle says that she needs golden beets in the kitchen. That way I know right where to go. I'm usually the one who works with the root cellar. I wouldn't want her to come down here. It's not the nicest place to be. Because it's dark and it's damp and it's chilly. Which is the way root cellar should be. There, so we've got all of the red cylindra beets on one side, then we've got the goldens on the other side. You can play around with it if you want, trying to make them really super nice and super organized. And then upon those we will put more sand. This is kind of a dirty job. It's not really a lot of fun. The fun is knowing that you've grown food that will last all winter. To me, beets are a superfood in that regard. Like carrots, like potatoes, you can grow them. And unlike a tomato or a lettuce or a cucumber that you pretty much have to eat right away, beets will last a long time in storage. So last but not least, we can put a lid on our beets. There we go. And that's all there is to it. Another job well done. If you watched our video a few videos back on storing celeriac for seed production, this is it right here. I've got 2 celeriacs that I've packed away in sawdust or pine shavings, if you will. And I've got them in a ventilated container. In this case, one of those perforated garbage cans that you sometimes see. And we had potatoes in this garbage can, but we ate them, so now it's empty, or it was empty, and we can put the celeriac in it. These celeriacs are for seed production, not for consumption. So I'll put the lid back on, and that's that. Someone asked for a tour of the root cellar, but golly, there isn't really much to see. I'm showing you two perforated garbage cans over there. They have our late season potatoes in them, and they'll be there until next May. Well, they won't be there till next May because we're going to eat them. But if there were any left over after all the soups and mashed potatoes and baked potatoes and so forth, breakfast potatoes, if there are any left over by next May, and there usually is maybe 5 pounds or so, then they'll go into the garden for seed potato. Just plant them in the garden. And then over here are 2 more garbage cans. This first one in front of us is where our mid-season potato is stored. And they're stored, by the way, with dry, clean hay in between layers instead of damp sand like we did the root vegetables. So there's 2 garbage cans there, although the second garbage can I just showed you a second ago, that one has celeriac for seed production in it right now, but before it had maybe a third of it was filled with mid-season potatoes, which we've already consumed. They're pretty delicious. And then of course you just saw me filling this tote. And over there I've got some gallon bottles of white vinegar. I use that for flushing out our tankless water heater. But that third tote there, that has our beets in it. Right there is a red tote with some old feed bags on it. That red tote is empty, but it will have our celeriac in it that we will be storing for winter storage. And if you've been following the channel, you would have seen me probably several videos ago putting carrots in this long, narrow tote. That's where we store our carrots, in this long, narrow tote. So that's basically all there is to the root cellar. I do have a cabinet that I made. It's right there. It's a cabinet with hardware cloth on the front of the doors. When Danielle used to make aged goat cheese, we used to store it in that cabinet, and so it's just a place. We have put squash in there before, and the hardware cloth keeps the mice away from them, should we ever have a mice infestation, and we have. Well, that's just about going to do it for this one. The sun ended up coming out beautifully now. When we were working with those beets, it was actually raining, and we had to stop recording and put the camera inside. But now it's become a beautiful day. So, but that's the end of this video. And I guess I'm going to catch up to Danielle and see what she's doing. And pretty soon we're going to have to think about planting that garlic. That's going to become up very soon. So, alright, well, thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one, okay? Alright, bye.